Stacey Schildroth here with 360 Yield Center, and today we're going to be talking about the 360 SOILSCAN Certification Program. Now first off, you should have received your enrollment confirmation letter in the email, and it has your customer ID code here and also your QR code, and you'll need to have this printed out so that you can scan it in so that the app will recognize you for the program. So once we go to the app and once we have ran our calibration, we'll be on this page, which is the Prepare Soil page. Now if you look up above, you want to go to the Certify tab and press that. And it's going to take you here with all of the steps that you need to take. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you will want to scan in this QR code. So we'll just hold it up against the camera there, and it's going to come up with a green bar with our customer ID number. And the next step that we're going to take, which I've already completed ahead of time, is we're going to want to make sure that we have fresh standard solution in the calibration bottle, and we're going to want to put that on the sensor shelf. So make sure that you've refreshed your standard solution. When you hit the next button, you're going to go up and you're going to scan the soil jar barcode. And those can be found on the jars right on the edge right here. Just hold it up and let it scan. It's going to tell you what soil jar you are and what run you're on too. So you're going to want to do 3 samples off of each jar. So as you continue on and scan into the second run, it'll tell you that you're on run 2, and it'll tell you when you're on run 3 too. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to open this up and we're going to fill up our slurry cup here with the required amount of soil. So this is your 15-gram scoop that would have came in your soil kit. Make sure you scoop out a pretty liberal amount. You want to tap on the side of your jar 3 times just to make sure you remove all air pockets. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to take your stir stick and you're going to want to level that off. Now we do dried and ground soil for this program a little bit differently than we do our fresh soil. So we do it with a weight. And this is why it's important to follow these steps correctly. So once you have it leveled off nicely, just pour it into your slurry cup. The next step that we're going to take is we're going to take our water vial here, which goes up to 15 milliliters, and we're going to fill that clear up to the 15 milliliter line. And make sure you get exactly 15 milliliters on there. And when you do, simply pour it in with your soil. And from there we can hit next step, and we have our soil and water in the slurry cup, and the next step will tell us that we're going to hand stir this mixture together for 100 seconds. So simply press the start button. It'll give you a countdown on that, and it's going to give you a little message there that says to continue stirring. So all you need to do is just continuously stir like this for about 100 seconds. Okay, and as you can see from the app, we've completed the stirring process. So then we're going to hit next step, start analysis down below. And we're going to follow the steps here. So step 1 says to remove the standard solution bottle from the sensor shelf and set it aside. And then we're going to rinse the sensor and the electrode with distilled water and wipe it down with a paper towel. So I've got some distilled water right here. Just give it a pretty generous squirt on both of that electrode and the nitrate sensor, and take a paper towel and you can just wipe the sides down, and then remember to pat the bottom of your sensors. We don't want to wipe the bottom of the sensors because there is a protective cover on the bottom of that too, so we don't want to damage the sensor that way. The next step you do is you take your slurry mixture and you place it on the sensor shelf so that the sensor and the reference electrode are soaking in it. And then you hit next step, analyze. And from here it's going to go around. It'll probably take about 2 minutes to complete the analysis. What's happening here is it's telling you where your nitrate reading is coming in parts per million. Now you can also use the certification test with your pH sensor if you have a pH sensor, and that information will come in right below too. So you are able to test both nitrate and pH on the SOILSCAN Certification Program. Now also, while you're waiting for your testing to complete, you can add in any notes that you have here. You can also confirm your customer ID and your sample number down here, which says we're at 1656 and we're at run 1. Alright, so once it finishes with its analysis, your ppm number will come up in black here. And from there you have the option to discard. You can test your next sample, or you can hit done to go on and submit your samples. Now we're going to press test the next sample. And this will give you all of your information that you need to prepare for your next sample. So what you want to do is remove your slurry cup and rinse everything back down with distilled water again. And return the standard solution in the calibration bottle back so the sensors are soaking on it. You do want to have that calibration bottle on when you are testing, because every time that we hit and mix the sample, the sensors are recalibrating themselves for their accuracy. So the next step that you also want to take is to make sure that you rinse both your scoop down with distilled water. If you want, go ahead and use tap water with it, and then rinse with distilled water too. And make sure that's dry before you use it on your next sample as well. And then rinse your stir stick down too. And we do this to avoid contamination on our next samples. And from there you can press test next sample. You already have your customer ID in, so you can go down to the bottom and you can hit next step. Scan your jar in, and it's going to tell you you're at your next run with it. Okay, so once the soil analysis is complete, you'll have your number come up in black here for parts per million. And you can see that we have 14 parts per million on this one. What you'll also see is that you do have the option to discard if you do not want to use this sample. And you can also test your next sample, which will take you back through the steps again, or you can hit done as well. And we're going to press done. And from here, if you have your samples ready to go, you can submit them for certification. All you need to do is press submit samples down at the bottom. It'll tell you it's uploading, and then it'll give you a message that your information has been submitted.